I want to start off by saying this video is going to be a little bit different than usual. It's going to be less scripted, it's going to be more impromptu. In fact, the only thing I have for notes is on my phone. It's just stuff I'm going to look at to know exactly what I want to cover, but no script to actually make this seem very professional and kind of robotic. So we're starting off here in my own home. This is my office with all of my incredible tech stuff in it. Besides the point, this is more of a vlog style video, and it's going to be a review of Panic at the Disco's Pray for the Wicked, which is their newest album from June 22nd, 2018. It's about 3 months later. And I'm just going to kind of review it, but not scripted, just more impromptu, more train of thought, something I wanted to do. That being said, this is going to be filmed over multiple days, so my outfit will definitely change, and so will my location. For now, this is Panic at the Disco's Pray for the Wicked review 3 months later.
For to the old and to the new, we rededicate this song to you.
Oh, I didn't see you there. I am seriously going to do this part of the review like this. First up, we have Silver Lining, formerly called this, but for our purposes, it's just going to be Silver Lining for kind of a real reason. It has a very strong start. I really like the way this song starts with the weird opening to then going full-blown into the song. It was a great start to the beginning of the concert, and it's a great start to this album. The only issue, of course, that people will have with it is that it has a strong language. I personally don't have an issue with it, but people with innocent ears, as I'll describe them, kind of will have a hard time. It is, in a way, kind of uplifting. It's very upbeat, and it plays into this this lyric, cherries, cherries, everything is cherries on top, which comes after the chorus, and it kind of shows that Brendan, what he's trying to say with this song is, he's not looking for the silver lining of things. He wants everything to be good all the time, and everything above that is cherries on top of the situation. It only makes it better, it only makes it sweeter. I just feel like that's, if you can get to that point in life where everything is pretty great and everything else on top of that is cherries on top, it just means a lot. And it really works in the song, and something that all of us are kind of looking for in our daily lives.
It's just cherries, cherries, everything is cherries on top. No wings of rocks or endless mountains.
Cold open. Okay, starting off in a bit of a different area, we have the gymnasium of my school. That's interesting. So we're talking about Say Amen Saturday Night now, which is an interesting song. It has very religious undertones, kind of like a lot of the Death of a Bachelor album. And for Brendan Urie, it's kind of talking about his experience with being raised Mormon and kind of dealing with that. And not necessarily it being a bad thing, but how it affected him. What I really like about the song is the rocking chorus, "Oh, it's Saturday night." Like, just that little break of,
"Oh, it's Saturday night."
Like, all of that, I think it works very, very well. The music video is very great for this. It was the first one they released that has a full music video, and it was kind of with a little bit of backlash, but it's kind of violent. And it's a very different music video, but Panic at the Disco always does really weird music videos, which I covered in my Panic doc. It just adds like a whole new like kind of spy thriller feeling for Brendan Urie and his music videos, and it turned out really well, and it's cheesy and funny, and it's a really good music video. One part, it's in the music video, of course, and in the song, is this high note. towards the end of the song, he says Saturday in a very, very high note in the falsetto range, and it sounds amazing, number one. And number two, in the music video, it's actually quite funny. He gets kicked where the sun doesn't shine to do the high note, and I think that's actually a very funny addition and a very cool addition to the song in general. Okay, so next we have Hey Look Ma, I Made It, and I am here above the school commons, which are pretty cool. I actually like this part of the school a lot, and I like this balcony up here. It's a perfect place to film. So, Hey Look Ma, I Made It is definitely the deepest song on the album, for sure. Once again, it has a really nice chorus. It actually kind of sends a positive message of Brendan feeling like he's reached where he wants to reach in life with his music and with his career. But it kind of has like a dark twist to it, and it's very, very much shown in the music video, where he talks about he's made it, but is it all that great? The music video is actually very, very weird. It's kind of displaying how he feels like a puppet, sometimes to like a manager or his music, and less of a creative individual doing what he loves and kind of being controlled. So the whole music video actually starts a puppet. And that actually kind of adds a layer to the song that you may not have thought of, because before listening to the song, or before seeing the music video for the song, you're really thinking of just how positive it is, but when you see the music video, it adds this whole nother layer that you didn't even think about, of it possibly being a very negative song. It's very, very catchy. It's one of the songs I find myself listening to and then having stuck in my head, or sometimes just randomly breaking out into song for Hey Look Ma, I Made It.
Hey, look, Ma, I made it. Hey, look, Ma, I made it. Everything's coming up pieces, pieces. If it's a dream, don't wake me, don't wake me. I said, hey, look, Ma, I made it. Had to have high hopes for a living, shooting for the stars when I couldn't make a killing. Didn't have a dime, but I always had a vision.
Okay, so next up we have High Hopes, which is funny because I'm on the balcony again. This is one of the deeper songs on the album. It really is talking about Brendan Urie having high hopes for his life and his influence that his mom had on them. And it's also kind of negative, and how much pressure there is to always set your goals so high. I really, really like that. It's really about feeling you have to be the best you can always be. The music video I really, really like. It displays it very well. It starts out with Brendan kind of walking, being unsure about himself, talking about having high hopes. And then of course it's a panic music video, so it kind of goes crazy and he walks up the side of a building. But it's a fun song. The chorus, again, is really good. When the song kind of drops and goes hard, it just makes you want to dance. And a lot of the songs on this album do that. They're very anthem type songs, meaning they're more for parties and would be played at like clubs and parties, that sort of thing. And this song definitely has that, but it doesn't make it a bad song. It's actually one of the deeper songs on the album, and that's why I really, really like it.
Always had high hopes. Had to have high hopes for a living, shooting for the stars when I couldn't make a killing. Didn't have a dime, but I always had a vision. Always had high hopes. Gonna to the suburbs. And I'm on the rooftop with curious strangers. This is the oddest of summers.
So the next song is Roaring Twenties. Roaring Twenties is actually a very interesting song on the album. It's actually about his time on Broadway. And his time on Broadway comes at the very end of his 20s. He was 29 and was in the show Kinky Boots. So you might think that Roaring Twenties is actually about the Roaring 1920s, what everyone knows the Roaring Twenties for. But it's actually about Brendan's formative years of being 20 to 30. And it really talks about him figuring out where he fits in life, career-wise and personality-wise, and just kind of like not knowing where to go, again, career-wise and personally. A perfect lyric to kind of summarize this is the lyric, "This is my roaring 20s, I don't even know me." It really shows that he doesn't know who he is, and he's trying to figure it out all through his 20s to really decide, this is who I am, this is Brendan Urie. And it really leaves it open for the audience to assume that in their 20s, you know, they can still not know who they are. That's fine, and that's his very formative years.
My telltale heart's a hammer in my chest. Cut me a silk-tied tourniquet. This is my roaring 20s. I don't even know me wrong. I'm a moonwalker. I'm like MG up in the clouds. I know it sounds awkward. Filthy as charged. You're a sweet talker. But darling, what you gonna say now?
Okay, next we're kind of in a interesting part of the school. One, it's very secluded. The only thing really near here is the auditorium and audio control, as you can see there. But then that's the commons, and there's this window. And you would think there'd be a walkway here, but there isn't. Anyway, it creates kind of nice lighting. So next we have Dancing is Not a Crime. And Dancing is Not a Crime is one of the more simple songs on this album. It doesn't necessarily have much substance to it in terms of the lyrics. It's definitely a dancing song. I think of Footloose because of the title of this song, Dancing is Not a Crime, but I don't think that's actually what it was inspired by. Besides that, there's not a whole lot to this song. It really just, it sounds good. It has a lot of high notes. There's the lyric Without Me, I believe is the lyric, and it's very, very high note. But it sounds really, really cool, and if you weren't even paying attention, I didn't even realize when I first listened to it that it was even words, because it was just so high. The only really notable lyric in it, and this is the one a lot of other people have picked out in their reviews as well, is I just want to be your boyfriend, girlfriend, oh yeah. It's theorized this comes from his support of the LGBTQ+ community. He has been known to support LGBT rights and that. I think he's trying to embrace that a bit more, and he mentions it in this song where he's not really looking to be a boyfriend or a girlfriend, he just wants to be with someone, which I think is really cool. And I think that's a good sentiment to have in a song, especially nowadays.
Grey goose, pour, get it started, good times, remedy your sorrows, baptized, don't worry about tomorrow.
Because I don't feel like moving, I'm going to continue to shoot here for the next song, One of the Drunks. This is actually one of the deepest songs, along with Hey Look Ma, I Made It, in that it's really talking about drugs and alcohol in a significant amount. It's talking about Brendan's specific use of drugs and alcohol and kind of how that affects him. And not necessarily that's a good thing. A lot of like rappers will talk about how great drugs and alcohol is, but Brennan Urie kind of shows that while he may have a problem, he knows it. It's not all good. In fact, one of the lyrics is, he says, "Damn, it's all good, I guess." And that's a really, really good lyric. One of the drunks talks about kind of losing all your feeling and always looking for a new high, and being uncomfortably numb. And it just makes it one of the deeper songs, and people who maybe are alcoholics or have other drug issues can relate. And even if not, it's a deep song, and it's still kind of bouncy and has that panic kind of fun to it, even though it's kind of over a darker matter.
Damn, it's all good, I guess. This is what it feels like when you become one of the drugs. This is what it feels like when you become one of the drugs. Searching for a new high, high as the sun, uncomfortably numb. This is what it feels like when you become one of the drugs. See, the thing is, I'm so sorry to say, someone still loves you. Someone still loves you.
So as we sit here, we're going to talk about the song The Overpass, which is actually rather appropriate because, well, I would argue this is an overpass of the walkway below. I don't actually like this song that much. I mean, don't get me wrong, it has a fun vibe to it, but there's nothing really going on lyrically at all. It's actually rather boring. The actual instrumental bits, I like it a lot, but the lyrics don't really have much weight, there isn't much going on, and I'm not a critic at all. I don't listen to a wide variety of music, well I do, but I don't listen to music and go, I don't pick it apart. I'm only really doing this because it's a school project, and it's something I can talk about, but The Overpass just feels empty. It has a great introduction. It has this very classical, jazzy, kind of spy movie sound. I had just seen The Incredibles not long before the album came out, and it was the first thing I thought. The Incredibles 2, that like spy theme with the horns, it really feels like that same type of music at the beginning of The Overpass. And I really enjoy that, and I enjoy some of the underlying bits of The Overpass, but the actual lyrics just don't hold that much weight, and it's not very memorable to me. That's why it's one of my least favorite songs on this album.
Down to your blood type, but I remember every time. Meet me at the overpass, at the overpass. Sketchy girls and lipstick boys. Heaven knows that I'm born too late for these ghosts that I chase with these dreams I inflate. Painted skies in my brain every day. I'm Carl Sagan in space to escape this old world, this old world. Some days I lie wide awake till the sun hits my face and I fade, elevate from the earth far away to a place where I'm free from the weight.
So next we're up here at the other end of the hallway to talk about King of the Clouds, which is a different song to say the least on this album. The lyrics are purposely not super deep. They were actually created while Brennan Urie was high, and he was babbling on about space and time, and his friend wrote down everything he said, and they turned it into lyrics for this song, King of the Clouds. They came within 12 hours of the deadline, getting it actually to the studio for them to put it onto the album. The King of the Clouds is one of the easiest songs personally for me to memorize. It was the first song I memorized completely on this album. The lyrics, because they're so kind of fun and wacky, they're easy for me to remember, and I actually really enjoy that about a song. A lot of songs, I'm not a good memorizer in terms of song lyrics, I often get them wrong too. I really enjoy King of the Clouds because it's easy to memorize. It also has this weird beat, this weird flow to it. I don't know what instrument it is, but there's a dun dun dun. But after it, there's almost like a ch. I don't know if there's actually a ch noise, but if not, I automatically put that in my head. And it allows me to follow the beat when memorizing lyrics. The very funny and weird lyrics of King of the Clouds. I just like every bit of the song, and I don't really have anything against it whatsoever. I also really enjoy the music video, which is like this chalk drawing type thing. It's an animation, and I assume it wasn't really made with chalk. It was some sort of animation type of filter they put on everything that they drew, or they did it all by hand, who knows. But it looks awesome. I thoroughly enjoy that as well.
I don't feel anything at all. I'm king of the clouds, of the clouds. I get lifted, king of the clouds, of the clouds. Once upon a thrill, from a kiss to a swill, we were swallowing the nights like we had 9 lives. Been gone so long, 17 so gone.
It's a little busy out here right now. This is day 2, and we have 2 more songs. So first we have Old Fashioned, and Old Fashioned is another song about alcoholism, and it's much more, it's a little bit more vague. It's talking more about the band's abuse of alcohol as a whole, and less about Brandon Urie on his own. He actually talks more about how they use alcohol when they were younger, when they were 17, and how it changed how they felt and how they worked. It's warning listeners a lot to enjoy their youth because it's the best it's ever going to get. In fact, there's a lyric that is, it was the best of times, it was the best of times. Instead of, it was the best of times, it was the worst of times. It's actually a nice twist on that typical saying. And I really, really like that about the song. It's probably my favorite lyric of the entire thing. It was the best of times, it was the best of times. I really like the song. Other than that, there's really not a whole lot going on lyrically with this song. It's like just an average Panic at the Disco song in my opinion, an average for this album at least. And I like Old Fashioned.
When it's over, so pour out some liquor, make it an old fashioned. Remember your youth and all that you do, the plank and the passion. They were the best of times, they were the best of times. The moment you arrived, they built you up, the sun was in your eyes, you couldn't believe it.
Like the change of scenery, we have some people in the background this time. So this time we have Dying in LA, which is the final song, the 11th song on the album, which actually rounds out the album with only a 35-minute runtime, which is a bit interesting. It's a ballad. It's a soft piano song. It's similar to the piano version of This Is Gospel in that way. And it's very enjoyable to listen to because of that reason. Overall, the meaning is talking about, it's kind of a sequel to LA Devotee. It's talking about his career and himself in LA. It's him battling this emotion of whether he's going to physically die in LA or his career is going to die in LA. It's actually kind of deep, and the lyrics are very powerful, and the way he sings it are very powerful. He actually did it on the second take. That's the take they used, which means there's one little mishap or kind of just weird lyric in the middle of the song. And in the second verse, he has this yeah. And I'll play it for you right now.
Escape it. Yeah.
Now he changes that for his live performance because it does just sound very awkward and choppy and just not great. That's really the only issue I have with the song. It's a very soft, easy listening song, and there's not much of an issue with it, and I thoroughly enjoy it.
And nobody owes you now. When you're dying in LA, when you're dying in LA, when you're dying in LA, the power, the power, the power, oh, the power, the power, the power of LA.
As we near the end of the video and the end of the school day, I'm sitting by some of the doors that people use to leave. We can talk about my overall thoughts of this album. This album, from other people, has come under some fire for not being the most lyrically deep album. But for me, I'm not all about lyrics. I know that's what I talk about in this video because it's a review. I feel like I have to. I can't just say, I enjoy the song and how it sounds and that's it. That being said, I'm really listening to these songs because I just like how they sound. Some of them, the lyrics do attract me. I get a lot out of the song from singing along with it, and these songs all have that quality of wanting to sing along with it. That being said, I did rank the list, start at number 11. At number 11 is The Overpass. Like I said, not a whole lot to it. Yeah. Dying in LA is actually number 10. The reason is because while I love slow songs, and I really like this slow song, I just prefer the other more upbeat songs in general compared to the slow song. Number 9 is One of the Drunks. There are just some funky parts of the song that kind of slow down and make it a bit weird that I don't really enjoy, but other people definitely might. I am definitely more for the upbeat throughout the entire song. That's my thing. Number 7 is Say Amen Saturday Night, and that has the full upbeat throughout the entire thing like I was just talking about. But Say Amen Saturday Night, because I've heard it so much and because it's so popular, it's going to get overplayed. And I'm already predicting that, and I'm already feeling that, especially right now. Number 6 is Dancing's Not a Crime, mostly because the lyrics are just kinda meh, but the rest of the song is very fun and upbeat, and like I said, it's easy to listen to, and it does make me personally want to dance throughout the entire thing. Number 5 is Silver Lining. I really just like the upbeat chorus and just how bouncy the song feels. It's got a very bouncy beat, and there's nothing I like more than that in the song. Number 4, we have Roaring Twenties, and I don't honestly know why it's at number 4, except that I just kind of like it. The lyrics are alright, and I just enjoy it. Number 3, we have High Hopes. This went up mostly because of the music video. I really, really enjoy the music video and just kind of how weird but yet innovative it is. And High Hopes speaks to me on a personal level of I'm always setting very high goals for myself, and I never really know if I'm going to achieve them, so High Hopes means a lot to me. Now this is a toss-up between number 1 and number 2, and honestly it changes on a daily basis. But as of now, number 2 is Hey Look Ma, I Made It. I put that at number 2 because of the strong lyrics, because of the personal meaning it has to me of getting to a point to where I feel like I can say, hey look Ma, I made it. And number 1, if you have been paying attention, is King of the Clouds. And I say King of the Clouds solely because of the wacky lyrics and that pitter-patter 4-beat, but actually 3-beat thing they have going on throughout the entire song. It makes me want to dance and do just some sort of weird motion. And I thoroughly enjoy King of the Clouds. Okay, so as I walk back to class and it gets slightly noisier, that's it for this review of Panic at the Disco's Pray for the Wicked about 3 months later. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you later.